Hello all, today let us discuss about discrete cosine transform, forward and inverse 2D DCT. Discrete cosine transform. DCT are the members of a family of a real valued discrete sinusoidal unitary transforms. DCT consists of a set of basis vectors that are sampled cosine functions. And if you see, the applications will be majorly in the domain of image compression because of the property that it has excellent energy compaction for highly correlated data. Coming to the definition formula for the forward 2D DCT, let f of m comma n be an image, then its two-dimensional DCT is given as f of k comma L is equal to alpha of k multiplied alpha L being the coefficients, where alpha k is given as root of 1 by n for the case k equal to 0, and similarly square root of 2 by n for k not equal to 0. Similarly, the same definition for alpha L for two cases L equal to 0 and L not equal to 0. So multiplying these two coefficients and then summing up with summation m equal to 0 to n minus 1 and n equal to 0 to n minus 1, two summations since it's two-dimensional terms, f of m comma n multiplied by its cosine kernel. Here the kernel is being the cosine. So cos of 2m plus 1 pi k by 2n. Similarly, the other cos term is 2n plus 1 pi l by 2n. So as defined earlier, the coefficients multiplied by the image and then multiplied with the kernel. That's the kernel is nothing but cos theta here. So the 2D inverse DCT is given as, so you want the time domain image, so it's f of m comma n. It's given by summation k equal to 0 to n minus 1 and L equal to 0 to n minus 1. It's with the coefficients alpha k and alpha L multiplied with the image f of k comma L multiplied with cos, the kernels here again, cos 2m plus 1 pi k by 2n, and the other is cos 2n plus 1 pi l by 2n. So let's take some problems here, and this problems has been taken from Anil K. Jain textbook. So let's compute the DCT matrix for n equal to 4. And so to calculate the kernel matrix or the basis function, you just take a one-dimensional DCT, that is where it's given as x of k is equal to alpha of k and multiplied with summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1, x of n, the original signal being multiplied with the cos kernel, that is cos 2n plus 1 pi k by 2n, where it's lying between k is like between 0 to n. As said earlier, alpha k is having the value of square root of 1 by n for the case k equal to 0, and for k not equal to 0 it is square root of 2 by n. By using this, since n equal to 4, we have taken k is equal to 0 to n minus 1, so k equal to 0, 1, 2, 1, 3. So let's take first k equal to 0, so it's x of 0 is alpha of k is square root of 1 by 4, summation n equal to 0 to 3, x of n into cos. I'm just replacing here n equal to 4, so it was 2n, so it is 8 here. So substituting that, we get for k equal to 0, we get just the coefficients, so 1 by 2 into x of 0 plus 1 by 2 into x of 1 plus 1 by 2 into x of 2 plus 1 by 2 into x of 3. I'm just trying to expand the value for x of 0. Similarly for x of 1, x of 2 and x of 3. So x of 1, just substitute k equal to 1 in that place. So I'm just substituting k equal to 1 in this place, and I'm trying to expand for the summation here. So I get 0.6532 multiplied with x of 0. So I'm going to find these coefficients values for x of 0, x of 1, x of 2 and x of 3. Similarly for x of 2, substitute k equal to 2 and just expand the summation here. You will be getting the coefficients for x of 0, x of 1, 2 and 3. Similarly proceed for x of 3, 2. So now I get coefficients with 4 equations. So when I'm just trying to make it as a matrix form, my kernel will be, I'm just taking all x of 0's value here, x of 1, x of 2 and x of 3 values, just make it as a matrix. and that's going to be your DCT kernel matrix for n equal to 4. Similarly, you can proceed for n equal to 8 or whatever the thing being asked for you. So now we have to check whether this is being a real and orthogonal or not. So to check for the real and orthogonal matrix, check let's keep this as A matrix. So A into A transpose is equal to identity matrix. Just check whether we are getting this identity matrix. Otherwise, just check whether the inverse of A inverse is equal to A transpose. So if those conditions satisfies, then this above defined kernel should be real and orthogonal. Let's check by applying this kernel to some images given here, and the images is f is equal to 1, 2 and 2, 1 is given 2 cross 2 images has been given to us. So we have to apply DCT. So I want G is equal to, I know what is the kernel. Just the previous thing we have seen the kernel. We have seen the kernel. Let's come to the problem. Here they are asking us to apply DCT to the image, which is of the image is of 2 cross 2 image they have given here. So here when you want the transform, it is the kernel. So this is what a kernel is. So this kernel is taken, the kernel 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 is 2 cross 2 kernel has been taken, and then multiply, then this is transpose of that kernel has been taken here. So multiply that with this, and again multiplied with the transpose of that. So we get when you do the calculations, you are getting G is equal to 300 minus 1. Okay, and this is what the DCT for the given image. This is how you should do DCT. So if it's 4 cross 4 matrix, take the 4 cross 4 kernel, multiply that with the image, then transpose that kernel, then find the answer. So this is how you have to proceed for finding the DCT for an image. So let's take some problems in the unitary transforms. And as I told you, the reference book is Anil K. Jain. Let us take some some problems to understand this thing. Prove that the unitary transforms, they work for a given image, and the f is equal to 1, 2, 2, 1 by using unitary transform kernel, that is 1 by root 2, 1, 1, 1 minus 1. And you know that the forward transformation is given as G is equal to your kernel matrix multiply with image multiply with the kernel transpose, and your inverse transformation is given as f is equal to kernel transformation multiply G with transpose. So here I have given you G is let us take G is equal to A into F into A transpose. Okay, A into A transpose, and similarly F is equal to A conjugate transpose, that is inverse G into A transpose, and we call this term as Hermitian matrix. So it is A Hermitian G into A conjugate. So this is what we have to find it. Just taking this G is equal to T into image F into T. So you get G is equal to 1 by root 2. This value is 1, 1 minus 1. This is what your kernel multiplied with your image given 1, 2, 2, 1, and it's and again 1 by root 2, 1, 1. It's 1 minus 1. It just we have just taken the transpose. It's same here for this problem. It's same here. So when you multiply that, we get the transformed images 3, 0, 0 minus 1. So this is, let's take this equation number 1. Let's take this first part. Coming to the inverse part, we are going to find f now again. So f is equal to just take the kernel multiply with the transformed image, then again t. So here when I get that, I can just multiply and get that answer is 1, 2 and 2, 1. Therefore I am able to reproduce the same image here without any information loss. So this is the reason for the popularity of unitary transformations. So we don't miss any information there. You are able to properly reconstruct it back, and that's how the unitary transform has taken a major role in all the research problems. is coming to Kronecker products. Kronecker products is nothing but, let's take if A and B are the two matrices. Let's say A is having M1 cross M2 and let's say B is having N1 cross N2 size matrices. Okay, then the Kronecker product is defined as, let's first define for A Kronecker product B. So always try to take the second part as such, B you take as a matrix itself, and for A you just try to take the element by element. So I'm just representing as A M comma N. So when I expand it, I have as I told you, A is having M1 cross M2 matrix. So I'm just trying to expand A as A1 comma 1 till it goes till M2, A1 comma M2. Similarly here it goes with M1. Okay, M1 goes to M1. So since I have M1 cross M2 elements, so individually I should take every element of your A, multiply that with your entire matrix of B as it is. That's what is giving you the Kronecker products. So let's take a problem to understand it better. Find the Kronecker product of A. A is 1, 1, 1 minus 1, and let us take B is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they have asked us to find A Kronecker product B. So I told you that for A Kronecker product of B, just take one element of A alone, and that one element is going to be multiplied with the entire elements of B. So just take 1 into 1 is 1, and 1 into 2 is 2, and 1 into 1 into 3 is 3, 1 into 4 is 4. Just take one element here, multiply that with all the entire elements of B to get A Kronecker product B. So that's how you got this matrix. Similarly, try to find take this element, multiply this entire element with all the elements, and try to get what is this block, that is 1 multiplied with this. Similarly, take this one, multiply with all the elements, and try to get this block. And the last, take this element, multiply this with all the elements here, and try to get this block. That's what your Kronecker product is. So this is what A Kronecker product B. Similarly, when you want to find B Kronecker product of A, just try to fix A as such. Take your different elements of B and multiply that with the each and every element, you get this. So finally you can prove that A Kronecker product of B is not going to be equal to B Kronecker product of A. So hope you are clear with this Kronecker product, and students, get practice with this unitary transforms and DCT and the Kronecker product. Let's see in the next class. Thank you.